Hello again. Also, while here, I'm gonna do this over here, and boom. Also, I try and make this. Nope, that's fine. So, welcome to the aftermath of the last episode. We're now going to Destiny 2 just for this short video, because new topic. That's all the headline. Destiny Infinity. Apparently, it's a pitch that Bungie had for Destiny franchise. And of course, we're gonna look into this. New info on Destiny 2, Alarm Bells, Meltdown's role, and Destiny Infinity pitch. By Paul Tassi, which by the way, he's a senior contributor, and he's a very, I would say a credible guy. He might have used story for Bungie, I'm not sure. But he's like the middleman of what's going on right now. So for those of you guys that don't know, Marathon and Destiny 2 players are at each other's throats, saying that Marathon should be continued, while Destiny 2 players are saying Marathon should just burn to the ground. Now what they fully said, even though I haven't gone into the gist and specifics of that little war going on, overall, Destiny 2 players are pissed that Bungie has abandoned Destiny 2 to forcibly, quote unquote, forcibly continue their works on the Marathon. So, that's a little gist. And, yeah. But anyways, main focus is this. Published today, in the morning, which is very nice, but interesting. So now, we are now 1 week past the news that Bungie was ceasing development on Destiny 2 as a large June update, and there's a lot of big feelings on the internet about how that has gone down. Not to add to the emotion, but I have new information about all this, spanning from when things really started to go wrong with Destiny 2, what role Marathon has here in the pitches for ultimately rejected concepts about how to continue things forward. From my sources, here's a breakdown of what I've learned. There began to be discussions and scenarios planned after Edge of Fate, in terms of where Destiny 2 could or should go from there because that expansion underperformed expectations. It really did. I played the Edge of Fate campaign. In my opinion, it was pretty good. Even though it was different, seeing the House of Exiles again on a very random planet, and then just having time literally be involved, which was pretty insane, and having the 9 involved, it was very weird, but, in my opinion, even though, as I've learned, it didn't do well for numbers-wise, it was good, in my opinion. So, those discussions got way more serious and Renegades did even worse. Really, it didn't change sales or retention trajectory. Renegades did worse? Okay, that I didn't know about. I know the player count was low, but I would definitely play the Renegades campaign, because I still didn't play it. But also, I want to experience it myself, and just research how it was. The scenarios discussed were about what the future of Destiny would look like if it was sticking with the new 2 expansions. What? 2 new expansions? 2 updates model, or something else? The decision to actually kill the game was not made at the Edge of Fate or something that far back. It was earlier this year, as previously reported. Excuse me? Okay. That was cool. One idea was scrapping the 2 expansion model and going back to 1 big expansion again and renaming the game Destiny Infinity. The goal there was a kind of relaunch as opposed to doing a true Destiny 3 to kickstart momentum. Okay. Destiny 3 was considered as ever, but things didn't swing that way. My sources have no belief it is coming at the moment. With all of the options at the table, the main problem was that any and all of it cost a ton of money. Which is fair. Talking to multiple industry people, Jason Schreier's recent theorizing that building a Destiny 3 from scratch could cost $500 million, which is totally fair, before marketing and post-launch support is not unreasonable in the current state of the industry. As a marathon. Oh boy. If the game made $1 billion, would Destiny 2 have a chance to continue? Sure, maybe. But no one was sitting there on launch day deciding if its performance would kill Destiny 2 or not. Good to know. Unfortunately, neither the petition nor the planned login surge on the 9th has any chance of reversing the recent decision on relighting Destiny 3 as well intentioned as it may be. Yeah, that's fair. And I'll get to more in a second. From here, Bungie needs to learn to pitch its game and get something in the works. There's no info on exact metrics Marathon needs to become a win. All eyes are on Season 2 in the free week, but the console audience has proven they really do not care for this thing. So the needle is not expected to be moved there. That is fair. So in summary, Edge of Fate was when things began to really wobble, which is true. And Renegades is when the alarm sounded, which is weird, but good to know. While multiple ideas, including a relaunch or sequel, were discussed, everything was deemed to cost too much. Which is fair. Marathon's success or failure was not the tipping point of all this. Really. Though it is still a factor in the years past as part of how Destiny 2 shrunk so much with so many reasons diverted. Well, not great to read, I imagine, and certainly not anything to lift spirits. There will be a lot of talk about what could have been what even sounded like a Destiny Infinity for continuing the series, but cost and risk were alleged to be too high for any of these continuation scenarios, especially with longer-term Marathon development planned, so here we are. Okay, we're going to do a couple things here. So, for starters, a Destiny Infinity. Now, in my opinion, that would be not a good idea. Well, hang on, one word. That would be a somewhat good idea. Now, the reason I'm saying somewhat good idea was because there was a game related to this, but then didn't happen. So, the game is called Halo Infinite. You heard it right. Halo Infinite. And I'll tell you now, it was supposed to be a 10-year game. A 10-year game. That game, Halo Infinite. It was supposed to be majestic. Which, by the way, the base campaign is amazing. The open world type of Halo is awesome. I love it. I have played it. I know how it goes. However, the downside of what happened was the Promise 343, which has been named to Halo Studios for some years now. They made that promise and then just didn't do it. They didn't do it. And it would have been so good to see that. Because there was so many things they missed out upon, they literally just made it into a live service game. Which is another thing. They made it into a live service game. Whether a battle pass, seasons, like Destiny 2 was. However, for Halo, while Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the time, before, and, well, Destiny 2 was doing fine at the Yeah, it was like before Sony bought Bungie, and then as it happened, things were not going well for Halo. And the fact that they were planning to do a Destiny Infinity, it would have been something. I wouldn't say the greatest, because for Destiny, in my opinion, even though I didn't mind the live service stuff, all that jazz, some games aren't meant to be live service games. But, as I've learned, over time, recently, Sony loves live service games. Nothing else. Period. As I've been looking into more of my YouTuber videos that I follow, like Lucky 10p, As all that. But a live service game is not always going to work. Which is totally fair. Because, for example, Destiny 1, 4 expansions, the base, House of Wolves, Dark Below, Taken King, Rise of Iron. Well, 4 expansions in the main story. It did well without a live service. And Destiny 2 has been doing fine on the live service. However, the twist was getting rid of the content they had, for example, the Red War, to continue on throughout the storyline, so that way the amount of space or amount of storage in like the gigabyte stuff for the game itself wouldn't be too much, as I've learned, which is annoying. But at Destiny Infinity, the fact that it was a pitch is very insane. And then it got scrapped. Like, and the fact that it says the goal there was a kind of relaunch as opposed to doing a true Destiny 3 to kick some momentum. Okay, I'll tell you right now. I call that BS. Bullcrap. Because I would understand from a perspective of relaunching and renaming a game to continue your legacy. For Destiny, it is not meant to be a never-ending thing. Like, for example, the final shape. It was literally fitting to end there because there was a light on the saga where we learned that the witness was behind everything, where the Hive were against us, where the Fallen against us. Well, yeah, the Fallen against us. The witness was behind everything we fought against, from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 through the final shape. It makes sense right there, right then there, to end Destiny 2 and to start a new game fresh, hands down. But again, like I said many times, for the Destiny 2 stuff, there were layoffs, unnecessary layoffs, in my opinion, because for some reasons that I forgot, but also I kind of remember some. Like, there were so many layoffs, it literally made Bungie to do more work on their past employees, when they were reduced to size, and just be forced to abandon Destiny 2 because of their size, in my opinion. And even though Bungie themselves have made mistakes, in my opinion also, even though some people did leave, besides the layoffs, for that time, at the final shape, it was only the layoffs. Like, what was the point of laying off a lot of employees for a game that has success potential in its name? That's the issue. And this one here, they had a pitch to rename Destiny 2 to Destiny Infinity, to make it like a still Last of Us game, but continue the story. And this was like a goal to kind of relaunch to kick some momentum instead of doing True Destiny 3. Dude, I'm telling you right now, Destiny 3 will get a huge momentum instead of a rename of a game to continue legacy on. Destiny 2, yes, a good game, But at the same time, though, again, Light and Darkness Saga, it would have been fitting to make a Destiny 3 game, but it didn't, and just went kablooey. So, there's that. So, Destiny 3 was considered, as ever, but things didn't swing that way. And, as he says, my sources have no belief it is coming at the moment. At the moment. That's a key phrase. At the moment. So even though it's been some time, for like a week now, that Destiny 3 is not in development currently, Bungie still has the Destiny franchise at their hearts. So, if for some reason they're still working on a Destiny 3 in secret, even though after the June 9 update, there'll be a lot of layoffs, as I've been seeing some videos on, if they're going to work this in secret after they get laid off, and make their own company, and make a Destiny 3 with this company, potentially, this is an if scenario, that will be a big move. And I'll keep it simple. Layoffs happen. Destiny 2 no longer updates. Everything crammed in a big update, make it nice. But then for the employees that were at Bungie that will be laid off at its current state after the major update on June 9th, if they were trying to secretly plan to do this on purpose, even though they probably didn't want to, most likely, and then they just create a company and say, hey, Destiny 3 reveal trailer, dude, it would be not great and ballsy, because it would piss people off. I will say that right now. But at the same time, though, it will be a big move, because they don't need Sony to make it the Last of Us game for Destiny. Destiny alone is better as it is, without live service. That's my opinion. That's all I'm saying. So, what I just said about the if scenario, I doubt it, but it's an option if it's available to them. That's all I'm saying. And then let's see. What else? So, another thing that got my attention was that the decision to actually kill the game was not made out of fate or something that fell back. It was earlier this year, as previously reported, which is insane to me. The fact they had previously wanted to kill Destiny 2 earlier this year, 2026, is insane. But again, it makes sense, because of what happened to Edge of Fate. It was not great, from numbers-wise, and many cases it was, apparently. Which, actually, now that I think about it, numbers-wise, yeah. So I kind of forgot about that. So then, another thing, Marathon, if the game made $1 billion, would Destiny 2 have a chance to continue? Sure, maybe, but no one was sitting there on launch day deciding which performance would kill Destiny 2 or not. That's fair, because there were like 80,000 players on Marathon launch day. Even though it wasn't much. Unfortunately, neither the petition nor the planned login surge on 9th has any chance of reversing the recent decision, or greenlight Destiny 3 as well as attention to maybe. Yeah. Even though I do really want to disagree with that, he's not wrong. Because again, Sony has the button to greenlight the pitches that Bungie has made, which they have denied a lot of them, which is so dumb. Like, even the pitch for a Destiny 3. Like, another thing as well, from another video I've seen, from Lucky 10P, I believe, or Azakos, they overlook an article about ex-Bungie people that used to work at Bungie, and then just got laid off over time. Some of them mentioned that they did try to pitch a Destiny 3. or something like that. Just other stuff. But then Sony was like, no. They just, no. Like, no. For some dumb reason. And they still believe that Marathon has a chance to succeed. Instead of a game, Destiny 2, that has so many players playing it to this day. Not the many numbers, but it's more numbers than Marathon by 1,000 or so. It may be minimal, but it's a huge thing. You know why? Destiny 2... No. Destiny as a franchise has been more popular and has been one of the most amazing games to ever expand upon, from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, where it made the first-person shooter experience amazing. The stories, the supers, the new everything along the way, and like, the Light and Darkness Saga, was amazing. That's what matters. And the fact that, again, that Sony is wanting Marathon to continue instead of Destiny as a game to continue is stupid. Like, they're missing out, once again, an opportunity to continue a franchise that'll make Bungie and help Sony be better as a better duo instead of one or the other. Because again, Destiny is better than Marathon. Yes, Marathon is new. It is interesting. But I'm going to go ahead and do a little image. In my opinion, I'll tell you right now. No. Okay, so, I'm an example. So, in my opinion, this guy looks goofy. Now, I will say this, Marathon players will get mad at me for saying this, but, like, this, like, seeing that will creep me out. Not gonna lie. And then another image. And this was nice. But when I first saw this game, I was a little weirded out. And then seeing another image, let's see if I can find it. It was like a, oh yeah, here we go. This one here. Like, it's not, it's a little disturbing because it's like, even though I get it, it's a new game, all that. But, at the time though, again, in my opinion, even though I haven't played the game, from a viewer standpoint of seeing this is weird. Like, mainly this. Like, seeing that in the game, also seeing this in the game, it looks a little weird. Like, also this a little bit, even if something were cool. Like, seeing that, in my opinion, again, even though I haven't played the game myself, it's like, who would want to play that? Like, yes, the art is good. But in my opinion, and again, even though I haven't played the game, I would not, or rather, let me say this. The art design for a game can matter for one reason, in my opinion. It's the choice of the game developer to make the art of characters. A, goofy looking, or B, that they look decent, but not goofy. Some Marathon's characters, in my opinion, from the designs, for some, goofy and weird, because it's like, well, what is that? While Destiny was more simple, awoken, exo, human, made sense. I would rather play that instead of playing a game that had some weird looking characters and just expect to play it. For some cases. And I will say this for now, I will not be playing Marathon, because I'm not even going to touch it. Mainly because I want to play other games that I want to play. So there's that too. But that's my little rant about that. Is like that. Like, seeing that alone, like the characters for some of them, they look weird, a little goofy, but still weird. While Destiny's characters are walking human and exo, I like those. But rather, a more simple, simpler and normal character stuff with some details you can add to it. The hair, eyes, you know. Unlike Marathon was like goofy. Even though the gameplay is most likely good, the art design for some characters, and all I'm gonna say. But yes, regardless, either way, Sony does have the button to whether or not greenlight Destiny is already too late. But I will say this. Even though it may not do that, as a guarantee, it will let the world be reminded. But rather be seeing a moment that a game, if they have way more players than another game of a company, that should send them a message that they want Destiny, no matter what, to continue. And again, as I will agree with Paul Tassi here, it will not reverse the decision of what they did to abandon Destiny 3. About that. But it will send a message, regardless, that all Guardians, all Awoken, Exos, humans, Fallen, everyone that's with the light, everyone in the Destiny community, they will, and I hope to God, that there'll be a lot of players on that update to remind Sony, heck, even to remind the world, that Destiny is a game that we love. We may not play it as much nowadays for some of us, because of work, life, usual stuff. It's a game that changed our lives. For some of us. For me, it has. Mainly in terms of experiencing more what Destiny had. And even if, again, it doesn't really, the thing, it will still send a message, no matter what, that Destiny is a well-deserved franchise to continue no matter what. That is it. And if Sony ignores it, if they ignore the numbers on that, I will be shocked. But they will still need to know that numbers mean everything. So, there's that. And then, let's see, let's do one last thing. Marathon's success or failure was not the turning point in all this, though it is still a factor in the years past as part for Destiny 2 struck so much with so many results diverted. So I'll say this. That's a fair point. Marathon wasn't a turning point, even though it's a factor that it diverted the resources on Destiny 2 and Marathon. Marathon should not have been started at all, in my opinion. Like, yes, it was a different idea, Bungie, all that jazz. It should not have been started at all. in my opinion. Because, one, for the alpha release of an alpha test, there was already some people pissed that Bungie literally stole an art from a artist that did the design of Marathon. Another borrowed Destiny arts from Destiny to transfer it into Marathon. So that's that too. Which is pretty stupid. Pretty stupid. But then, the choice to make another game different from Destiny, like, why? I get it, but the why is more important than the what. Because if they were to plan on keeping Destiny alive, they should not have had all the idea of creating Marathon, or just any other game in general. Because if they loved Destiny more than anything, they should have focused the resources on Destiny alone and no other game. Period. And in my opinion, that's fact. Because if they didn't... Here's my thing. If they didn't do a Marathon, if Destiny was still thriving, with all the resources they had, with everything they had to make some legit good expansions, like Forsaken, I don't think we will be in this situation either way. It could have still happened. It could have still happened either way, which I wouldn't doubt it. But Marathon didn't do well, even though Sony still wants to continue it, and now Destiny 2 is going to eventually end on June 9th, and it's going to be like, what to do? Final ride. So, yeah. Whew. So overall, Marathon, even though it has received some good things of comments, and of course all that jazz, other things, Marathon, in my opinion, should not have been created so that Bungie can continue working on Destiny with all the resources they have, and that the petition will stand and reverse Sony's decision on the green light Destiny 3. But then overall of a Destiny Infinity. Interesting, but because a Destiny 3 would have been more motivating to increase the momentum instead of having a continuous life service game that would, eventually die off. Even though it is now. Eventually. So that was the video for today for Destiny 2. On the news, I was really looking to see on the details of this Destiny Infinity, like the full list. But it was just the beginning of it. And then it says, what could have been with even something like Destiny Infinity to continue the series. So, and of course we'll talk about this as well, eventually, for the series. But, there's that. This is the Man here. I hope you've enjoyed this short interlude between the games we're doing on the schedule. And I hope this news will bring updates on what's happening for this game and what my opinions are for this as well. And once again, as a reminder, for those of you Guardians in the world that still love Destiny, even if you've been playing it a long time, sign the petition. I will definitely link it in my post on YouTube, description of the video for this, so I can sign it, share with friends, and if they have ever wanted to play Destiny, or if they played Destiny in the past, ask them to sign it. And after this Destiny 2 video, I might upload it tomorrow morning, if I have time. Otherwise, it'll be sometime tomorrow. And that's that. Have a good night, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow for one of the games y'all will see, that will play, and stay safe.